So what we're doing in Copper Cards is we're re-establishing communities. We're creating these small groups of people who stand together and establish a community that can help them understand how to deal with the government and understand what's going on in their community. And it's when you can stand together as we the people that you can actually stand up and get rid of criminals. 12 jurors who came to sit over trial. You don't need any government involvement in that. We the people do that. That's what America is about. And we've forgotten that. And the reason we've forgotten that is because we've gone through years and years of fool, not school, where the Rothschilds have controlled the education programs. They control the books. They own all the publishers. And we now can go onto the net and learn about the true law and the ability to, for example, form the quo warranto process where you become a public attorney general. The public attorney general, which can be you, anyone in the public, can go and prosecute a government official. We can form our courts under common law, which are common law courts, which are true courts, where the jury then tries and convicts criminals in conformance, in complete conformance to the law. Now these enterprises, and I call them enterprises because they are businesses, they're set up on Dun and Bradstreet. They're not legal systems. They're courts which are businesses. We've been led to believe that that is the legal government of the United States of America. Clearly, we understand from the very outset of the Constitution, which there is, we the people are our own government. Now, the same problem happened way back in the 1930s in San Francisco. The vigilante courts that were set up there were set up to specifically eliminate these corrupt criminal enterprises which took over our we the people courts, as they have right now. And we need to do that again. We need to understand that we the people are the government. It's not they the government who are our government. We the people can form private and public attorney generals and the quo warranto process. We can form our courts ourselves by simply forming the juries, just like we do grand juries. But we have to be educated. And that's what Copper Cards is doing, is showing you what the true law is and how to take back your legal rights.
Do you think any lawyers are going to aid Copper Cards?
Now, one of the most interesting amendments to the Constitution is the 13th Amendment, the missing 13th Amendment. There was two people who were doing investigations. It was an investigator and a policeman were doing these investigations in one of the oldest libraries up in Boston. And they came across this old copy of the Constitution. And there in this old copy of the Constitution was this 13th Amendment that they'd never seen. They got all excited, rushed around all the old libraries they could find to find all the old copies of the Constitution. And lo and behold, in every one of those copies of the Constitution that were printed before the Brits burnt down the White House in the War of 1812, had this missing 13th Amendment properly ratified. And this missing 13th Amendment, surprise, surprise, specifies that if you become a member of the bar, which traces its roots directly back to England and the Crown, you lose your citizenship. Of course, lawyers are not going to be happy with respect to the true law because they're not following the true law. They're trying to make up their own law called case law. They're trying to keep you ignorant with respect to what your rights are. They will tell you, oh, don't you get involved in the law. But understand this common law, by definition, is for the common man. Under common law, if the common person cannot understand the law, then it is not law. There's no scope with respect to interpretation of the law. The judiciary doesn't have the right to interpret the law, because if they have the right to interpret the law, it means they can say the law means whatever they feel it means. Classic example is their sovereign immunity claim. They somehow say that the 11th Amendment, now read it. In fact, let's do that, because it's not a bad idea to always pick up the Constitution and read the actual words so we can see what it says for ourselves. The 11th Amendment is a short amendment. Let's read it. The judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state, or by citizens or subjects of any foreign state. Now that's pretty short, one paragraph. Let's look at that. The judicial power of the United States, the judges, shall not be construed to extend to any suit of law or equity. So there's no judicial power in any lawsuit that is prosecuted against one of the United States. Really, all it's saying is there's no judicial power if you sue the government. Under due process in common law, if I sue your boss, you can't be the judge. That's all the 11th Amendment says. There's no inference, no suggestion, nothing whatsoever to do in the 11th Amendment with anything to do with sovereign immunity. To the contrary, it actually says that the judges can't take part in any of those suits that are brought against the government. And of course that's the case. It's naturally the case. If I'm suing the government, one of the employees, a judge, is going to be biased against me. He's just going to dismiss my case. So in suits brought against the government, pursuant to the 11th Amendment, there's no judicial power, leaving the only power left in the courts, which is actually more powerful than judicial power, and that's power of the jury. And the jury determines both the fact and the law. And we can go right back to Samuel Chase, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, one of the first Supreme Court justices, who said just that. The jury determines both the fact and the law. And he went on to say that either, unless we've pushed this issue, we're all going to hang separately, or we most surely will all hang together. And what we've got to understand in this regard is we people need to stand up together and take back our government from this band of criminals who have taken over our government, turned it into an enterprise in this District of Columbia where bankers control everything you do. The average citizen today pays more than half of what they earn in some form of tax. You work 6 months for this criminal enterprise that calls themselves our government.
Isn't that approximately what the serfs of the Middle Ages gave their lords, about half of everything they worked for all year long?
Well, often more than that, and we do more than that as well, because you've got to add your taxes and then take your mortgage, because your mortgage you're paying on that interest that the federal bank, this private bank owned by the Rothschilds, made out of absolutely nothing. Look at what you pay on your interest of your mortgage plus your taxes. Actually, then you're getting into the 60 to 80% of everything you get earned goes back to the Rothschilds.
Well, there you have it from Clive Boustred up here in Santa Cruz County. I'm William Wagner for On Second Thought. Catch our next episode.